my name's Deacon Christopher Brock. My home parish is St. Vincent de Paul Parish in Charlotte. And during my time at St. Joseph College Seminary, I was part of the Alpha class. I think the most interesting part of my studies was probably the philosophy studies. I really enjoyed, I thought it helped to kind of form my mind, and it really taught me how to think, and I felt that that gave me a really good, foundation for going into theology and beginning to study kind of the higher things, the study of God. Having that philosophy was very helpful. In terms of academics, the focus shifts from philosophy here in the college, and then towards theology in the major seminary. Also, I think the kind of like the formation atmosphere changed a little bit too, whereas, in college I felt that the formation was in certain ways it was actually stricter. I think trying to establish you with good habits of prayer and study and just as a person in general. Whereas in theology, it felt like you were given a little more space to maybe exercise those habits and see sort of how well they actually stuck with you. Being a transitional deacon has been very, very wonderful. It's wonderful. Just one of my favorite things, and it might seem like a kind of small thing, but actually just being able to get vested when I go to Mass. Putting on the vestments just, I feel it helps me to, immerse myself so much more in what's going on at the Mass. It's a very beautiful thing. Another thing I've really loved, even though it's definitely kind of nerve-wracking, would be preaching as well. It's always scary, on a human level, but it's always been a very just a very beautiful experience for me, a very powerful experience, and I really enjoyed having the opportunity to do that as a transitional deacon. I mean, there definitely have been moments that it can be hard. I think part of it is actually just the length of seminary. Like getting through the entire process, it takes a while. And when you've been in for 4 years, for 5 years, and you're still not a priest, it can start to, just kind of weigh on you a little bit, and just sort of like the rhythm of the seminary, the routine. But yeah, I do think that in those moments, times that it's been a little bit more difficult, that, certainly the prayers of the faithful have helped me along, and ultimately just the conviction that this truly was the life that, God is calling me to live, and that, even if it takes a while, even if it's difficult to work towards it at times, that, that it's worth it because I'm trying to follow His will. I was always sort of attracted to the priesthood ever since I was, a young boy, and that attraction, that feeling of, I think I might be called to this, kind of grew in me during high school. And when I was 18, I started the application process for seminary. But as I was going through that, I began to kind of get cold feet about it and walked away from it for a while. But after about a year of, trying to kind of run from my vocation, I had an experience at Mass where I was just watching the priest preaching, and I was so struck by the joy that he had, the love for the Lord that he had, and it was just so evident from looking at him. And in that moment, I think the Holy Spirit just kind of convicted me that, if I didn't at least try going to seminary, that I would spend the rest of my life feeling like I had missed something that I should have tried to do. And in that moment, I made the decision to pursue it. And so that's kind of my vocation story. Once I went to seminary, I think I fell in love with the lifestyle, being so much closer to priests and growing in my understanding of what the priesthood actually was. I just became more and more in love with it and the beauty of it. I knew that was the life that I wanted to live. So one priest who certainly inspired me, was that priest that I saw preaching at my parish, and that was Father Casey Coleman, a very wonderful priest, and he, was a very good example for me. During my time in high school, he encouraged me in terms of going to seminary, and I'm very grateful to him for that. And then also, once I've been in seminary as well, certainly Father Calf, the rector here at St. Joseph, has been a huge influence on me, and I've certainly, I have a lot of respect for him and the example that he set for me, during those very formative years as a new seminarian. He was very influential. So the one thing I would say I am most excited for, most looking forward to about being a priest is the thing that everybody says, but it's actually true, and that's just saying Mass. I really, really want to say Mass. And I'm looking forward to that so much. If I had to give a different answer to that question besides the Mass, I would just say that something that has always appealed to me about the priesthood is the way that the priest is able to interact with people in a very, kind of personal way. I think people open up to the priest in a way that they don't to most other people, and that the priest has so many special opportunities to bring Christ into people's lives. And so all of those moments, whether that's in the confessional, in the hospital, home visits, whatever that might be, but any opportunity I have to bring Christ into people's lives, I'm looking forward to that.